guys, Redneck Computer Geek there. As you can hear, the engine runs. And that actually goes back to an old junkyarder thing. Anytime you get the chance, if you're going to be ripping an engine out of a project, whether it's to rip it out and put it into another vehicle, or to rip it out and set it aside or whatnot, always get the engine running as good as you can before you remove it. And the reason being is that gives you a starting point of knowing exactly where you were at with that before you pulled it out. So right now, I know that this runs perfectly fine. It's all tuned up and ready to go, which means if I rip it off now and I put it back on, it's got to be something attached to it that's causing it not to fire, not the engine itself. So, the point of this video today, we're going to rip everything off of this machine. And by everything, I mean just about everything. Another aspect, I'd like to go and cover another YouTuber thing. So, a lot of you end up asking me, when is the best time to start a YouTube channel? And I will tell you that it's kind of counterintuitive, but the best time to start a YouTube channel is actually between January and March. And the reason being is because financially that is the worst time for a YouTuber. YouTubers literally, if they're in it for just the money, will only put up videos that are leftovers from summer. They will put up videos that are just an update in order to keep you tuned into the channel. Things like that. They don't actually put up videos that they think are going to be moneymaker videos because there's no money in it. If they make, say, $20 off of a video, say they make $20,000 off of a video normally for the rest of the year, during January, February, March, that same exact video released would be lucky if it managed to make, say, $5,000. Which means if you're used to making a how-to video that makes, say, most of mine usually on a release date make somewhere around $20 to $30 over the first week, I'll be lucky if one of those how-to videos makes $3. So, that's the reason why it is a lot of bigger YouTubers disappear, is because it's all about the almighty dollar. So, if you're trying to start a YouTube channel, January through March is the time to do it. And that's because you build a subscriber base, and by the time the actual money side of YouTube comes around after March, you'll start making money. You got to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, and you got to hit the view mark that they now have in place. Right now is the time to do it, this time of year. Alright, that's enough babbling for now. I'm going to start up the furnace, and we're going to get started. Now, the first thing that we're going to really get into is tear off everything we do not need that has to do with the mower deck assembly. Anything we do not want from the mower deck. I have a habit of leaving these mower deck handles on my builds. There's a reason for that. There's a lot of different nifty little mods that you can do at other times with those. A lot of people have made them into handbrakes over the years. A lot of people have made them into shifters over the years. A lot of people have made them into secondary throttles over the years. I personally like being able to mount winch thumb controls on them. I like being able to hold on and run the winch with my thumb. You'll see that on my plowing machine that I built. So, we're going to rip everything out of this that has to do with the mowing assembly first. So we're going to jack this front end up with our chain hoist. It's a half-ton chain hoist, and it's put into two 2x8 2x4s up above me. So while I'm here, I get asked quite often what it is I do in order to lift them with a chain hoist. Basically, I got one of these ropes. They're rated for like 1,000 pounds worth of pulling force. So being able to lift a 500-pound tractor really isn't that big of a deal. All I end up doing is I loop it underneath the axle and up around the top of the axle hub. And there's one side. And yet again, it's just another regular loop underneath the axle, over the top of the axle hub, and give it a tug. And that gives you plenty of area to work from. Alright, so here we are. We're going to switch this over in the infrared mode so we can see a little bit better. There we go. Alright, so right here you've got this rod here that goes back. All of this assembly, including what goes up in underneath, needs to be removed. This is your deck height adjuster. There's another matching one that's right here. And these panels that come up, those need to be removed, including this one right here needs to be removed. Up in front, this bar here does you no good because this pulley, remember, is going to be gone. We're going to slice this out, flip this to the top in order to make our drive pulley. Now when you come back through, you want to leave this tensioner, but this right here, this adjustment here is for your deck height. That needs to get ripped out. Wait, that's your deck engagement cable because this is an older style, sorry. Deck engagement. So this needs to get ripped out. And this right here, your positioner for your rear. There's a bar that goes like this up to it and down to your deck. This needs to get ripped out as well. Now, these right here are for, let me switch that back. These are for the front of the deck. There's a pin that goes through and a pin that goes through here. We're going to be leaving these on because we're going to cut them off and use them in order to make our skid plate for the front like we did with the original mud mower. Only instead of having welded down pieces, we're going to use this original plate. This is in underneath your dash. This handle here, if you have the first generation mowing deck, this needs to come out. Now this right here, this is where your height lever is. Right down here, this bar attaches underneath. There's a cotter pin on the other side of this that I can't get a camera to. That needs to come out. Now if we flip the camera in underneath, you're going to see right here, this is your height set adjust. This needs to come out. And then in underneath here, you're going to have, down in here, you're going to see this cotter pin right here. This needs to come out to drop that down through the bottom. So we're going to pull all of those out and set it in the pile. Alright, so we've got quite the compendium of parts here removed. This is all stuff that's related to grass cutting. So this is where it comes over in order to keep the belt onto the pulley underneath. This is good to save. You can use it for making a belt retainer later because it bolts right through the existing holes in the frame and gives you something to build off of that's good steel. This here, this is your deck engagement. And yet again, it's got the knob on it and good steel that you can work with later. This is your adjustment knob for retaining a certain height on your deck that you like. These are awesome. Racers have been using them for years in order to make adjustable undercarriage pulleys for idlers. It's been a concept that's been around since the 1970s on a lot of different lawn tractors, and just a great little part to have. This is your back and forth arm underneath, and these are your up and down height adjustment arms underneath. Yet again, they're all made out of solid steel that you can use for other projects. The other thing is they have these nifty little brackets that are great for being able to mount on the frame something else later, like say an undercarriage skid pan or something like that. So don't just throw them away, wait until you get further into the project because they're probably usable later. Looks like somebody already decided to try and fix this muffler once. Obviously, that's not going to be something I can use. So we're going to be hunting the scrapyard. So I figured while we're here, we might as well catch exactly why it is a lot of people hate first-gen Craftsman steering. And it's this. This piece from here to here is not metal. It's a polymer. And it goes like this. See that bounce? That's just going back and forth with the steering wheel. The front tires aren't even moving. So this right here, if you have play in your first gen, this is what you replace. We're just going to replace the whole entire steering system. Alright, so let's talk about tearing apart the steering wheel assembly, because you need to do that before you drop the steering box out. So you're going to have your steering wheel, and you're going to have to pop the top plate out. Now you're going to have this little aluminum thing on the inside. Underneath that, you're going to have a big ginormous washer. It goes like this. And you're going to have this bolt that goes through. So once you undo that, on the inside, you're going to have this rod. Now that rod goes over the end of this piece here. And you're going to have this going through it. And then from there, you're going to have this, which acts as your bushing or your guide or whatever you want to call it. And that goes over the top of this, so it fits like that. So you undo the two bolts on either side of this, and this pulls right off. And now you're ready to take out your steering box. Now your steering box on the inside has 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts, and you need to undo your arm, which is on this side down here. So we're going to flip around to the front. We're going to punch it into infrared and go from there. So switching here. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this, you need to undo and drop this steering arm. And then the whole box lifts up and then out the front of the tractor. point, as you can see, the Mud Wizard is officially exploded all over my shop and down to frame. Unfortunately, it looks like both of the idler pulleys that were in there, the clutch pulley and the idler pulley, are shot, so gonna have to replace those. But we're down to frame. At this point, we're gonna do one of those like things that every car guy does but isn't supposed to. We're gonna load this on the back of the pickup truck, take it down to the local car wash because it's currently about 20 degrees out, so there's no way I'm gonna get my pressure washer up and running. Get this down to the local car wash, spray it down, clean it up, and then that way we've got a frame to start from that is totally cleaned up and ready to go. We've got a lot on this that we need to go through, do reinforcement welds on, do gussets, do all kinds of different things on the frame. So, hope you enjoyed this production. Stay tuned for more reinforcements and everything else.